Oscar Bevis, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by The Last here in New Hampshire, Manchester, as we approach a massive fight week on Friday night, and Ireland's Jason Quigley challenges Demetrius Andrade for the WBO World Middleweight title. I just heard you say to someone else, the weather, there's a lot of Irish coming over, home away from home.
Definitely, this feels like a home away from home for me. I'm very comfortable out here. The weather's great. It's probably my favourite type of weather. The sun's shining, it's cold, it's crisp. You need a hat, you need gloves, you need the coat on, and that's exactly the type of weather I like. As long as it's dry, I don't mind the cold, and I feel right at home here.
It makes me laugh sometimes when you think of the Irish people, because they genuinely do seem to be everywhere. Like, everywhere you go, there's always loads of Irish people. Is there genuinely as many Irish people in and about here as they make out? Because when I said I was going to Boston, the first thing someone said was, "Oh, there's loads of Irish there."
Yeah, definitely. You know, the Irish were well travelled, so but definitely over here on the east coast of America, the population of Irish is massive, and you'll definitely see that on fight night as well. You'll see them coming out in their droves. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be loud, and the atmosphere is going to be unbelievable. But there's a lot of Irish flying out from Ireland for this fight. There's a lot of Irish coming up from Boston, coming up from New York, even in from Chicago as well. So it's exciting.
I'm sure all these paddies couldn't even fit in Ireland if they were all there. There's that many. Everywhere I go, there's just Irish. I'm going to ask you a pretty simple question now. Why on Friday night does Jason Quigley become world champion?
Because I'm going to hit Demetrius more times than he hits me, and that's what boxing's all about. But look, I get into the ring. My plan is to get in there, perform to the best I can. I believe I get in there and perform to the best I can. I come away a world champion on Friday night.
Obviously, I can imagine turning over your dream and aspiration was to become world champion. Has there ever been a point in your career where you thought perhaps maybe this would ever work for me, and when has that been? And then when has the point been when you thought, right, this is a possibility for me as well?
I think you ask any boxer that question, there'll be a point where they say, yeah, I thought like this is never going to happen for me. Boxing's full of ups and downs. Some of them have been enjoyable, some of them haven't been so enjoyable. But this is part of the crazy journey boxing brings you on. Looking back, I've enjoyed the ups and the downs now. I'm at a great place. It has really molded me into the person that I am today, and I believe that the person that I am today is exactly the type of person I need to be to handle this situation of not being too excited about fighting for a world title, and also enjoying this moment as well, and not being too serious or too worried or too hyped up about the whole occasion of it. You know, as this is, I'm very relaxed. I'm very much looking forward to this opportunity on Friday night, but I'm here too to enjoy this. You know, as this is, boxing's full of ups and downs, and when you get ups, you have to enjoy them, and that's exactly what I'm doing right now. You know, I'm enjoying it, enjoying this interview with you, lad. Having fun with it, and once Friday comes in, it's time to switch that nasty motherfucker on and get ready to take care of business.
It's not often I get compliments as the interviewer, so I'll take that. In terms of you and sort of your career as well, and your amateur background and whatnot building up to now, do you think, actually I'll ask it this way, how long has Jason Quigley been ready for a world title? Do you think a year ago you would have been ready to fight for a world title, or do you feel like, 'cause it's all about timing, do you feel like this is the perfect time, or how long have you been ready to fight for a world title, should I say?
I believe that everything happens exactly the way it's supposed to happen. There's never going to be a time where someone can turn around and tell you the God's honest truth that now is the perfect time for you, or this is the perfect time for you. There's a lot bigger things going on in the world, and I believe that when your time comes, that's when it is your time. And for me, I honestly do believe now that this is my time. I can just feel it in me. Obviously, it's here, so everything's happening exactly the way it's supposed to happen. And as I says, look, I'm enjoying every moment of it. Whether today be a great day, whether it throws hurdles at me, things that maybe I didn't plan happen today, then that's great. Let's enjoy it and let's overcome it. It's an obstacle. It's something. It's a puzzle to solve through the day. It gives me something to do, And yeah, look, I'm excited and looking forward to this.
I love the fact you talk about the enjoyment. I mean, you'd have spent time around boxers who've now retired and gone into training, boxers who are still currently active and fighting. Can you sometimes lose perspective of the fact that, all right, yes, you're in a fight and you need to focus, and on Friday you will focus, but can you sort of lose perspective of, actually, if I don't enjoy this, that's 10 years of my life where I'm doing what I love, but I haven't really taken it all in. Can you lose perspective at times, you think?
There's been numerous of fights that I've had in the past that I didn't enjoy the build up to the fights. I was too worried and concerned about things that I can't even control, you know, that's beyond my control. And, you know, I look back and be like, why didn't you just kick back, relax and enjoy it? Because everything's just going to happen the way it's supposed to happen anyway. You know, I can't really do anything about things that's out of my control. I can control things in my own environment, like the likes of my training and my eating and making weight, and that's no problem. I have that all off to a T. That's not an issue. But with all the other stuff that's going on, you know, you take it in your stride and you enjoy it. And the reason that I can turn around and say that and do that now is because I didn't experience that before. So it's all a matter of it's a trial and error. You know, we all make mistakes in life, and we all do things in life that, you know, we says, geez, maybe I shouldn't have done that. So the next time it comes along, don't do that. Do what you enjoy, and do what you would take a step back from and look at yourself and change. You would coach yourself and say, well, maybe you should have done this instead of that. Start doing that in your life, and that's what I'm doing right now, you know. Obviously, this is the biggest fight of my life. It's the biggest fight of my career coming up now on Friday night. But I'm sitting here chilled out. I'm enjoying the environment. I'm enjoying the build-up. I'm enjoying making weight. I'm enjoying the whole process of it all. And as I says, look, I'm very excited for this.
Enjoy making weight. You really are one of a kind. I've never heard a boxer say that ever. Demetrius Andrade, we've seen him multiple times now, sort of made a name for himself fighting on the zone on a platform where we've all seen him and what he's about. He's tricky, he's awkward, he's unorthodox. Is he a very hard man to prepare for?
Yeah, look, Demetrius he's a very individual style of a fighter. He's a world-class fighter. Look, he's a two-weight world champion, a former world amateur champion. He's proved himself in the amateur ranks and the professional ranks. So Demetrius is a great fighter. Yes, it's hard to get sparring partners to really emulate his style, but the best you can do is get the southpaw sparring partners in and get used to looking at that style of a fighter. And, you know, I'm well used to adapting, adjusting. I've had over 250 amateur fights, boxed all around the world, came up with all the different styles, heights, widths, everything, and I've adjusted and I've prevailed from that. So I look forward to doing the same on Friday night.
In terms of his career, and since he's grabbed the middleweight world title, I think people sort of crying out for him to have that name on his resume that people could go, that's a serious win. He had it last time out with Liam Williams, cracking fight as well. I know you've spent a bit of time around Liam, you sparred with Liam as well. Yeah, you're good friends with Liam as well. Just in terms of that performance and perhaps maybe anything Liam said to you and that, what have you taken from his last time out?
Demetrius, look, I believe that if I was him and I was a two-weight world champion and the middleweight reigning world champion, and I wasn't getting those big fights, I'd be pissed as well. Like, you know, I honestly do believe that he deserves those big fights. And the only way that he can get those big fights is by holding on to that belt. So if he hasn't got those big fights by now, and I take that belt off him on Friday night, doesn't look like he's going to get them, but, you know, that's boxing. That's the way things go. As he says, everything's happening for a reason. He had a great fight against Liam Williams. I was super proud of Liam. You know, he put up a real tussle and a real fight against Demetrius. Really stuck it on him and, you know, really showed weaknesses to Demetrius's game as well, which thanks to that, Liam, because it has shown me a few things. But yeah, Demetrius's skill and his talent and his boxing ability just, you know, definitely pulled him through that fight. I think Liam might have been just a wee bit too gun-hold and wanted to get in there and just mix it up with Demetrius too much, and Demetrius used his skills, his attributes to his game, and that's what made him win that fight.
You talk about Demetrius being upset at not landing the sort of fights that he wants. We've heard of it with Canelo, Charlo, Golovkin, all the guys that will go down in the history books as greats. But why? In terms of you saying these big names, I've heard a lot of people say that he's the #1 middleweight in the world. So why could we not consider that essentially he is perhaps the man at middleweight?
I think it's because of his style. He's not that fan-friendly style that puts on, like a Mexican war type fight. And boxing's a business as well. Outside of boxing, is he a very entertaining character and, draws a lot of people into his personality outside of the ropes. He doesn't really do that either. So, boxing it's a game as well as a job and as well as a business and as well as a sport. You don't just get in there and win fights and get everything laid on your plate. So I think just that there's a few things there maybe lacking in terms of his personality, being out there a little bit more outside of boxing and, drawing more attention to himself in good ways and bad ways, because we all know that makes fights. That gets the crowds chatting, and he is starting to do that. I see, he went to the press conference with Canelo's last fight and, caused a bit of a stir and a hustle, and maybe it didn't come away looking so good on him, but it still made noise and still put him and Canelo's name together, and I think that's exactly what he should have been doing. But, as it says, look, I don't worry about Demetrius or his career or whatever happens, something like that's nothing to do with me. I couldn't care less. I'm there for myself and for my own career, and I'm there to do the best that I can and for me and my family. And that's just the way that it goes, isn't it?
You mentioned the name Canelo, and there was a point where I think a lot of people were surprised. It was just sort of like, it was very random. It was just like Jason Quigley and Canelo, and everyone went, oh, right, brilliant, like that. And for you, at that point when you got people talking about it and the names thrown out there to fight the pound-for-pound #1 in boxing, that must have been a mental couple of weeks when your name was literally like the main man in the mix.
Yeah, it was. It was a crazy high to a crazy low, because obviously it was whenever COVID was over and things were starting to get back. COVID wasn't over, but boxing shows were starting to happen again. I was penciled in to fight Jack Cullen in the Eddie Hearn's backyard in the fight camp, and obviously Golden Boy got in touch and says there's a possibility you're one of 3 opponents that could be fighting Canelo. And I was with Golden Boy, Canelo was with Golden Boy, so I thought it was an easy fight to get made. And we obviously walked away from the Cullen fight to fight Canelo. And then that obviously fell through because Yildirim came out of the woodwork as a WBC mandatory or something along the lines there. And that happened then. So look, as I says, that's why I take everything just one day at a time now, because in boxing it's such a crazy sport. You don't know what's going to happen, and you just got to enjoy every day.
Well, you have got your opportunity on Friday, and fingers crossed everything goes well and we can see another Irish world champion. Just quickly, I need to get your thoughts on Liam Williams and Chris Eubank Jr. Such a good fight, one that's been thrown about. Their names have been together for a couple of years now. Really good fight. I can't picture how it plays out. You said you spent a lot of time around Liam. Talk to me, man, because that is a sick fight.
Yeah, it's a great fight. I really wish Liam all the best. I hope he goes in and does the business. I think Chris, if he gets in there and, he's not as aggressive, he's not as high intensity as he used to be. I think if he gets in there, and just tries to coast along and, flicking the jab and, tries to be a little bit like Roy Jones, I believe that Liam's going to get on top of him and beat him pretty comfortably. But if Chris gets in there and, goes at Liam and gives it one hell of a fight and one hell of a go, aggressive, high intensity, I think it's going to be one hell of a fight, and it could go anyway.
I wanted you to say, you sit on the fence. Come on, you're better than that. Jason, thank you very much for your time. Good luck for Friday. Just final thing, what does sort of the week entail for you now? Do you go out and have a look around and maybe have something to eat? I don't know what your dietary plans are, but what's the sort of rest of the week for you?
The rest of the week is just, it's very, every day is very, very similar, apart from I had a bit of media to do here now today, so that was something a little bit different. Then tomorrow we have the press conference. It's going to be good, it's going to be interesting. Then we have the weigh-in. But in between those things that's going on, you're chilling, you're lying in your room watching a movie, going getting a bite of food, doing a little bit of training, staying nice and sharp, keeping the mind and body.
There's an Irish bar over the road.
Yeah, there's an Irish bar. I haven't got into it yet, but I might get into it after the fight. But yeah, no, it's a pretty straightforward, simple routine. Just relaxing, keeping the mind relaxed, but keeping it switched on as well. And yeah, just enjoying the moment.
Brilliant, Jason. Thank you very much for your time, and yeah, see you throughout the week.
Top class. Thanks, lads.
One.